Look at this shit. Motherfucking Legolas over here. Marcus, what do your elf eyes see? So I've been having a rough couple of weeks again because of some health issues. And, I've talked about before how the most important thing is that you keep moving forwards, no matter what, no matter how dark it gets. You just keep the forward momentum. Always focus on how you can make progress this day on some sort of a front. It can be big, it can be small, but you focus on something that you can be better at today. And I think we fail to do that when we have too high expectations on the growth. When I say you focus on the progress, you focus on the growth, you focus on the forward momentum, I mean that. It doesn't, that's the only thing I mean. It doesn't mean you make leaps and bounds every single day. It means that you are at least a tiny, tiny bit on the positive. And that's all that matters, because when you go to bed that night, you've won. You won the fight that day. Now, instead of making another video on that same topic, I thought we might focus on a broader perspective or a motivator for you to pursue that growth at all costs. And that is to realize that on the other side of this hurdle, this difficulty, this challenge that lies ahead of you, if and when you defeat it, you're gonna come out the other end stronger and better and more durable than you ever were before. In the macro scale, in the long term, this means that once the dark times are over, not only have you not regressed and gone backwards in your life, but you've managed to not only maintain, but grow during those darker moments. We have this mindset virus, this disease in our culture where we look at fear, we look at the challenges and the obstacles that lie ahead of us, and we don't see anything positive beyond it. We're just overwhelmed by this fear of uncertainty and anxiety without realizing that there is a reality on the other side of that. And when you choose to confront the fear willingly, when you take a sword in your hand and you face that dragon, that is going to be the most positive, beneficial outcome that you can hope. Most of the worst case scenarios happen when we don't face it, when we just lie in wait and wait for it to come to us. And usually when problems come to us in that sort of a scale, by then it's already too late. So what I really want to drive home in this video is to focus on what you want to have on the other side of this challenge that you're facing. Because it's entirely possible that you're going to come out the other end being weaker, being more damaged, being even more incomplete than you were going in. Because we need success. We need victory over the things that challenge us, to feel good about ourselves and to know that we're progressing, to feel proud about ourselves. When we fail to be victorious against the obstacles that we face, that doesn't feel great. And in some cases, it can lead to regression, going backwards. This is something that has plagued me for most of my life, up until when I really started to work on myself intensively. And I would almost always pull back from a challenge, pull back from an obstacle, because I was so afraid of the failure. I was so afraid of falling short from my aims. And the reasons for that are plenty. There are so many reasons why we're afraid of that. Some of those reasons are personal, and they usually relate to self-respect. You can't lie to yourself. Even if you tell yourself a story about yourself over and over again, it won't make a difference in how you feel deep down. And when the hour gets dark, all of that floods out. There's no escaping it, so might as well face it and start doing something about it. Some of the other reasons, of course, are external, social reasons. Are you going to look like a failure in the eyes of people who you care about? Or are you going to look like a failure or a burden in the eyes of society? There's plenty of external reasons that plague us as well. We get so caught up in the fear that we fail to see and focus on what's on the other side of it. When the road darkens and you're in that moment and the fear kicks in and things feel hopeless and desperate, you need some tools to carry you through. Whatever you can muster, you must utilize it, because the road does get so dark. It's really difficult to see anything past it, which is even more reason to exercise some practicality in your life before that even is relevant to you. There's a saying that you don't rise to the occasion, you fall down to the level of your training. And I feel like that's absolutely accurate for most of us. You train so that when the road darkens, you have an answer to that darkness. You have something that you know you can utilize. And one of those things that you can utilize is a promise. It's a promise of strength. If you don't wait and you willingly face your fear and you do something about that problem, on the other side of that, you're gonna secure the best case scenario. And most likely a part of that is that you will be stronger as a result of it. But also remember that I can't promise you that you're going to be the same person coming out of it as you were going in. There's no one in this world who can guarantee that, who can give you that sort of a promise. The only guaranteed thing in life is change. We all have a lifespan. We all grow old. We all change physically, mentally. The world changes and it might leave you behind. And when you go through some tough shit in your life, it can and it absolutely will change you. Are you going to be better on the other side of it? Depends on what you're talking about. Because sometimes we do take 2 steps forward and 1 backwards. Is that good or bad? Well, it depends on how you look at it. Depends on how you define progress in that specific case. But you will be stronger in that regard, which pushed you through that obstacle. Of course, you want to be careful with what you strengthen and what you don't, because it's not obvious that all things are equal in that regard, or that you'd even want to strengthen certain things about yourself or certain qualities. But remember that part of that is also exploration. You need to go to your limits to see where they truly are. Whether you want to go beyond that or slightly under or just to that line is really a whole different question altogether. But before this video goes too dark and too deep, remember the promise. Remember the promise of strength, that if you survive this challenge and you come out the other end victorious, you're gonna be stronger. And the next time you face that same obstacle or something similar, now you have an additional tool that you won last time you faced it. And that makes your life easier, and therefore it makes it better, makes it more comfortable and less stressful, less anxiety inducing, because bad times will always find you. There's no escaping hardship and struggle and bad things in life. They're just a part of it. And they're going to be a big part of it, in the sense that those are the things that shape you the most. But you can absolutely prepare for them so that not only can you face them efficiently, but even transcend the darkness of it all. But when you face your struggles and your fights, and therefore you become stronger, life also gets easier. And that's a huge key to living a happy and successful life. Gets easier. And in many cases, that's the best possible result you can aim for. And to someone like me, who has suffered from those things enough, that sounds pretty goddamn amazing. Finished.